Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update. And lava continues to flow from the volcanic eruption down there on the island of La Palma, and it is destroying everything in its path. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through a donation. You can see your names here. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, on the island of La Palma, down there in the Canaries, the lava continues to flow. And as we can see here, lava eruption grows by 50% in 12 hours and destroys 200 houses. The new volcano at Cumbre Vieja de La Palma has been erupting for more than 48 hours now, while the island's inhabitants are beginning to realize that the damage will be enormous. The lava flows continue to bury dozens of houses, infrastructure and crops in their path. More than 200 houses have already been engulfed. The eruption has so far forced the evacuation of some 6,000 people. Meanwhile, the island is waiting for the moment when the lava breaks through the sea. This will be one of the most critical moments for the protection of the population due to the release of gases. At the moment, the volcanic eruption on the island of La Palma has already emitted between 7,997 and 10,665 tons of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere every day, according to data from the Volcanological Institute of the Canary Islands in Volcano. So lava eruption growing by 50% and some 200 homes destroyed by it. But apparently this is just the beginning of the destruction down there, and more people today have been evacuated. As we can see here, the Guardia Civil escorts the residents of thwart to collect their belongings before the arrival of lava from the volcano on La Palma. The La Palma volcano continues to spew lava outwards. The lava is already a few kilometers away from the Atlantic Ocean. In the next few hours it may reach the sea. The neighbours of localities like thwart have already been evacuated because the first lava rivers have already reached the municipality of the Canary Island. The Guardia Civil is waiting for the residents of thwart and Tecande in Los Llanos de Aridane to escort them to their homes so that they can collect their last belongings before the lava reaches the municipality and destroys everything in its path. They have been summoned to that point first thing this morning. The agents will accompany them to their homes because they cannot move alone through the areas that have been evacuated. So more people needing to be evacuated by the civil guard, and it's estimated that some 1,000 homes will be destroyed. And the biggest problems, as we saw, will arrive when the lava hits the ocean. Now, with all the news and headlines about this volcano erupting down there in the Canary Islands, a new phenomenon has emerged here in Spain, and it is that of volcano deniers. As we can see here, volcano deniers, the latest online phenomenon to emerge in the wake of the La Palma eruption. Never say you've seen it all and read it all. Life can always surprise you. Remember that this is 2021 and we are still immersed in a global pandemic. A pandemic that began with applause for the health workers, but which after a few months was filled with skeptics who believed that it was all part of a plan by the great elites to control humanity, a sector of the population commonly known as denialists. Names like Bill Gates or words like plandemic are common words in their vocabulary. But it doesn't end there. Following the eruption of the volcano on La Palma, which has already led to the evacuation of thousands of people and caused various material damages, volcano deniers have also emerged. So there we go, the latest online phenomenon here in Spain, volcano deniers. That's right, you heard it correctly, people that don't believe that volcanoes exist. So let's put our hands together for that collective. And I'm sure that if we scratch the surface, we'll also find out that these people don't believe in the pandemic, they don't believe in vaccines, and they also think that the world is flat. But again, a quick round of applause for these people. Now, the Madrid government has said that it is going to crack down on massive illegal parties. We saw last weekend how some 25,000 people at a university got together and partied like there was no tomorrow. But for this weekend, Madrid has prepared a plan to prevent botellones at universities. A spokesperson of the government and delegate for security and emergencies of the Madrid City Council, Immaculada Sanz, has announced that they are preparing a plan to avoid botellones in the Complutense University and the Autonomous University this weekend after the macro botellón that brought together 25,000 young people last Friday night in the university city. This was stated in an interview on Telemadrid, picked up by Europa Press, where the spokesperson explained that in this case they have more information to avoid the situation and called for individual responsibility because it is not an image they want for the capital. So the Madrid anti-botellón squad will be out in full force this weekend at universities because it is not a good image for the city. And all I can say is that it's about time. Now, we saw in the news the other day how neo-Nazi groups marched through some of Madrid's central neighbourhoods last weekend, chanting homophobic and racist slogans, and the central government delegation in Madrid has fined the organisers of the homophobic march in Chueca €1,200. The Madrid government delegation will impose an administrative fine of €600, the maximum allowed by law, on each of the two organisers of last Saturday's march in Chueca, €1,200 in total, where homophobic slogans such as "Get AIDS out of Madrid" or "Get out of our neighbourhoods" were shouted. It has also issued a fine of €800 to 6 of the participants in the march, €4,800 in total, for an offence against the law on citizen security, as they were carrying 6 flares, 5 sticks of different sizes, and a knucklebuster. So the government cracking down on the organisers of that march. Now let's have a look at a summary of the health situation in Spain. And we can see that the accumulated incidence rate countrywide for the last 14 days is now down to 83. There are still 3,668 COVID patients hospitalised around the country, and 979 COVID patients are still in ICU. When it comes to the vaccination campaign, we can see that 75.88% of the population are now completely immunised against COVID-19, and 78.93% of the population have received at least 1 dose. Now, there's some important information for British residents living in Spain, and it is that the British Embassy has launched a survey on key issues affecting UK nationals in the country. The British Embassy in Madrid has launched a survey aimed at finding out how UK nationals in Spain have been affected by key issues, in particular the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union, a process commonly known as Brexit. The poll is for Britons who are full-time residents in Spain, not those with second homes, and are covered by the Brexit withdrawal agreement. That is, they were officially registered in the country before December the 31st, 2020, when the so-called transition period came to an end. Questions in the survey address issues such as access to healthcare and the uptake of the TIE residency cards, which were introduced as a replacement for green residency cards, either the credit card size or A4 sheet version, officially known as the Certificado de Registro de Ciudadano de la Unión. So there we go, the UK Embassy here launching a survey on key issues affecting British nationals in Spain. And as we all know, there are plenty of issues affecting British people here as a result of Brexit. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Emlyn: so sad to see what's happening in La Palma. Had a lovely holiday in Puerto Naos and walks around El Paso and Los Llanos. So pleased to see inhabitants safe. Irresponsible to urge tourists to enjoy the show. Usual self-delusion of politicians. The PM thinking his presence will make a material difference to volcanic activity when local plans are working effectively. Yemlin, thanks for the comment, and it is sad to see what is happening down there in La Palma, especially those villages that have been destroyed by lava. And a lot of people no doubt would agree with you and think that it was irresponsible by the tourism minister, Ms. Maroto, the other day when she encouraged tourism to the island and told people to enjoy the show because it is a once-in-a-lifetime event. And opposition parties were quick to criticise her, saying that she should be more sensitive to the people that have lost their homes and possessions on the island. And what's the Prime Minister doing there when the regional government in the Canaries is more than capable of handling the situation? Well, as they say in Spanish, chupando cámara. One here from Stephen: my impression is that the examiners are also quite sexist, and I'm a man. My daughter, who is an accomplished driver, failed twice and has given it up. Yes, Stephen, thanks for the comment, and obviously referring to a comment that we saw the other day from somebody in Valencia here in Spain who's having trouble passing their driving test. And sorry to see that your daughter is also having trouble with the test. But are the examiners sexist? Are they against women drivers? I have no idea, but we'll open it up to the community and see if other people out there have had similar thoughts. One here from Robert: Manj Mao, try to change city in which you are doing driving exam. Looks like in Valencia they are corrupted like in Poland. I passed my Polish driving test on the 4th attempt. Why? Because more exams, more money for the examiners. Yeah, Robert, thanks for the comment, and also on the topic of passing the driver's test here in Spain. I have heard that it is easier to pass the driving test in a smaller city or town here in Spain, a lot more difficult in the big cities, people say. A lot of people here in Madrid get their license when they return to the pueblo because they think it's easier to get it in some of the more regional parts of Spain. But again, is there corruption in the system? Are the examiners and the driving schools trying to squeeze more money out of the clients? I don't know if you've hit the nail on the head with that comment, but I reckon you're pretty close. One here from John. Tenerife does not allow smoking near a bar or restaurant. Smokers must go away from the premises and stand still while maintaining 3-meter separation from each other. Mental in my opinion, but that's the law here. Yeah, John, thanks for the comment, and again referring to another comment that we saw the other day, somebody asking whether you are allowed to smoke on terraces or outdoor seating areas at bars and restaurants here in Spain. I said that it depends on the autonomous community that you are in, the Canary Islands. As you can see there, it is not the case. You are not allowed to do it down there. But here in Madrid, I see people smoking at these places all the time. Somebody in Castilla y León also pointed out that you can't do it there either, so it depends where you are in Spain as to whether or not you can smoke at an outdoor seating area at a bar or restaurant. One here from Tobias. It is now long overdue to more seriously concentrate on vaccinating Africa, Latin America and Asia. Yeah, Tobias, thanks for the comment, and a lot of people share that opinion that we need to start vaccinating people on those continents, Latin America, Asia, Africa, for example. It's fantastic to have close to 80% of the population vaccinated here in Spain or other European countries, but if in some African countries, for example, only 10% of the population are vaccinated, this thing is going to be around for a long time. So definitely time to turn our attention to those developing nations when it comes to vaccination. And finally, one here from Karen. Hi Stuart, thank you again for another informative video. Watched every one since March 2020. I can appreciate how much hard work goes into producing these, as there is such varied topics covered. You have helped me to adjust to life in Spain. Thank you. Yeah, Karen, thanks for the comment, and good to see that we have helped you adjust to life here in Spain. As everybody knows, one of the main objectives of this channel is to keep people up to date with what is happening here in Spain and to talk about some of my experiences of living in this country for 22 years as a foreigner. So good to see that the videos have helped you, and I hope they are able to help more people in years to come. And before I go, I just want to introduce a new member to the community, Mia, and you will most likely be seeing more of Mia in future videos. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. We'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.